Today, I'm watching The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 4. The previous episode, we learned all about Bill and Frank's story, which was beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time. Nick Offerman, I thought, did a great job in his role, and we only saw Joel and Ellie for like the start and the end of the episode, and obviously when they get to Bill and Frank's, they find out that they have passed away, and they collect what supplies they can and are heading out to see Tommy, so they have a vehicle now. They were able to, freshen up a little bit and get some ammo and other supplies that they need. So I'm assuming this episode will pick up with them on the road on the way to see Tommy. We haven't seen Tommy in a few episodes. Obviously we've lost Tess as well, and to lose Bill and Frank in that episode was tough to see, even though it was a very beautiful episode to see their life and how they met and everything that they had endured. I haven't played the video game, so I don't really know how accurate the show is to the game, but let me know if you would like to see a video game to TV show comparison or even watch me play the game. I'm not a huge gamer, but I really enjoyed the show, so I'd be curious to see what the game is like. I know they're in production of Season 2 currently, so I'm very excited to see that when it comes out. But thank you so much for sharing and this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Yeah, we did see Ellie get a gun in the previous episode as well, and she'd been asking, and I don't like that she's like playing with it. God. We know, like, shooting the affected will unalive them, obviously, but also they move pretty quickly when they want to, and I'm worried about who she's going to use this on. Oh, why is she smelling it?
It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope. It'll still be stationary.
What is she reading?
Intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston. Volume 2. Look, you get it?
A book of puns? Oh my god. He's like, please wander, go away.
Math class. An algebra.
I love a good pun, but that was so bad. Joel's like, how did I get here?
Got something else. It's light on the reading, but it has some interesting.
Oh my.
I want to see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these pages stuck together?
Oh god. Yeah, and again we see like the animals seem to be doing okay. An abandoned park, yeah. That's crazy, all the boats, and yeah, there's no shortage of vehicles. They obviously just can't go anywhere. All the yeah, it's interesting to see on such a grand scale with the aerial shots.
Slow down.
This is slow. What am I even eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
A classic.
No, fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
People?
Okay, that's interesting that they're also afraid of... Yeah.
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Okay, that was a good one.
Now go to sleep.
It's nice to see them like joking around. Like most of the time I feel like Joel's annoyed with Ellie because she obviously has lots of questions and he just wants like focus, but it's nice to see them bonding a little bit. I still think he'll be sleeping, yeah, with his gun one-eyed open, because you never know, and he's now responsible for her, so he's trying to reassure her, obviously.
Is that seriously what those Starbucks in the QZ used to sell?
The QZ used to have Starbucks, really?
On their way up to Boston, which I did, mostly to keep an eye on him, keep him alive. That's where we met Tess.
Okay, so it was Tommy's idea. That's interesting. Yeah, we didn't know much about his character.
Fireflies too. So now he's on his own out there, and I gotta go get him.
Yeah, I was always wondering how they ended up in Boston. It seemed like such a random place, but...
No. Your cargo. But I made a promise to Tess. And she was like family.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't make her feel great, but what other option does she have? Yeah, just these like car graveyards, and what if you can't get through? Like, they obviously can't move the vehicles anymore. Oh my gosh, terrifying. Really cool set though, like everything is so distressed, and like just all those little details make such a big difference, and I couldn't imagine this is the world that you'd have to live in. It's very realistic, which I think is why the show is so like accurate and terrifying at the same time.
I can't tell from this, I'm all turned around.
Don't look at the state map, look at the
I
inset.
don't know where we are in that either. This is my second day in a fucking car, man.
She's like, yeah, give me a break, I'm trying my best, okay? I think that's Calgary's Globe Theater, the Globe Cinema. There's a lot of skeletons. Oh, God. Is that one alive?
Is that the QZ? Where the fuck is Fedra?
Oh no. Oh no. Those doors look wide open. Oh no. Oh God. Oh, it was a trap. Oh God. Oh no. Oh frick. Cheese and rice. Yep. Oh my God. Why are they attacking other humans? I don't understand. Do they think they're infected? I don't know. Like Joel said, they want to do other things to them. Oh my God. They've got enough to worry about.
You motherfucker!
You're shooting at him, bud. What do you think's gonna happen? Like, you don't have enough things to worry about? You gotta take each other out now, too? We've seen similar things in, like, The Walking Dead and stuff, too, but man, it's just always it sucks.
Fucking dead! You fucking killed yourself, motherfucker!
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, I know Ellie has a gun, but is she actually gonna use it? I don't know. She's a kid. Oh, but Joel, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. Oh my gosh, Ellie. Is he gonna be more mad she has a gun, or like happy? Oh, he's not even dead.
It's over. We're not fighting anymore. I'm gonna go home. I'll tell everyone you're good. I don't know what to do.
Maybe you shouldn't be killing people.
My mom isn't far. If you can get me to her.
Asking for his mom. Oh my gosh.
Trade with you guys. We can be friends. I didn't know.
Maybe you should have had this conversation before you started shooting them.
Get back behind the wall.
No. I'm sorry. Please. We can just talk. I'm sorry.
I think it's too late for that. Yeah. Bye. She knows what's gonna happen, obviously, but still. Oh my God. I just wanted to make it one episode without crying. Oh, this guy crying out for his mom. My heart.
What now?
You go up.
To get a better look?
Hopefully we spot a clear route out.
They're gonna have to find a different vehicle because I think that truck is done for, but now they got other things to worry about.
Kathleen.
The Bergquists.
It's Shauna from Yellow Jackets. I know she's in many other things as well, but you can check out my Yellow Jackets reaction.
Henry Burrell. Okay.
I'm guessing he's helping people escape the QZ.
Lawyer. Medical attention. Family visit.
Why do I feel like none of those are gonna happen?
For you to talk.
Kathleen, for God's sake. I delivered you.
He's a doctor? What? Aw.
I never told him anything about your brother.
But Henry did.
Who is Henry?
You think I won't do it?
I mean, if she's anything like Shauna, we're all in trouble.
I'm your doctor.
Probably the only doctor in the QZ, I'm guessing, so... Oh my god. Oh my god. She's like, well, we don't need a doctor anymore. Cheese and rice.
Stop him! Find who did this. Find every collaborator and kill them all.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I gotta meet this Henry guy. Kansas City's gone rogue. Joel and Ellie gotta get out of there. It just says run. It's getting real Mad Max out there.
You're just a kid. You shouldn't know what it means to...
Yeah, he's trying to protect her and keep her a kid, but in this environment, I don't think that's possible.
It wasn't my first time.
Go on. Who did she kill? She did seem like very familiar with the gun, as terrifying as that was. Oh, she gets it back? There's a little kid up here? We know they'd mentioned that her brother had died, but I had assumed it was an adult? Because... who's been drawing Superman? Or is Henry a little kid? Again, I was definitely expecting an adult.
Food. Henry won't let Sam starve.
Oh, Sam.
What?
I'm guessing Sam is Henry's little brother or something like that. Again, I haven't played the video game, so I'm not super familiar with the characters. Is there infected under there? What's happening? Why is the earth moving? Oh my god, no thank you, no thank you! It looked really cool though, that was a cool effect.
Did you kill innocent people?
It's a bold question, but I don't know if she wants the answer.
Come on.
Yeah, obviously you would have had, like, the situation would have been terrifying and you would have done things you wouldn't have ever expected to survive.
Leave the ass. 56 years old, you little shit.
It's like, leave me alone, I'm an old man, okay?
Joel? Joel.
Just a trail of broken glass in case anybody tries to break in.
When we were talking about hurting people, what did you mean it wasn't your first time?
Yeah, I like that we're slowly learning more about their backstories. I'm pretty sure that's the side that was shot when he was holding Sarah, if I remember correctly.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah.
They go to this. Ah ha 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 ha! She's so punny. At least she's trying to make him laugh. I don't know if it'll work, but maybe got a smile out of him. Okay.
That is so goddamn...
Joel!
Well, that didn't work at all. Aw, sugar. These kids found them? What? Oh my gosh, of course that's where it ends. Oh man. Frick. So that was my first time watching The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 4. I love that we got to see more of Joel and Ellie. Obviously, that was the main focus of this episode. And, you know, especially having Bill and Frank be the focus of the previous episode, which I loved their story, but I'm glad we're back to focusing on Joel and Ellie, as we'd only seen them a little bit in the previous episode. And, you know, Ellie has this pun book and she's trying to make Joel laugh and is able to, you know, with the last one just before they fall asleep. But Obviously, they had this very interesting dynamic. Like, Joel even calls her cargo at one point, and I know he is genuinely trying to protect her, but is it starting to become more because he cares about her, or is it because of this promise that he made to Tess, or a little bit of both? Like he said, he's like, you do anything for family, and Tommy being his family, obviously, but he obviously considered Tess his family as well, and, he doesn't want anything bad to happen to Ellie. I don't think that at all, but obviously, even when Ellie says, like, oh, where would you be without me? Like, joking because she can get into smaller spaces, he says, Wyoming. Like, I don't think in a mean way, but obviously she knows that he wasn't anticipating her being along for the ride. Like, every time they've tried to, take her somewhere, like the State House or Bill and Frank's, something happens. So he's still, babysitting her, basically. Obviously, he finds out in this episode that she has a gun, and we find out that she has at some point maybe not necessarily killed somebody, but hurt somebody. And, she is familiar with using a weapon that she learned from Fedra school. But I feel like this was a good, like, middle episode. There's 9 episodes in the first season, I believe, 8 or 9. And, we've kind of at that halfway point where it's a lot of, like, laying groundwork, I find, in shows. It's not usually, like, the most crazy episode halfway through. We've definitely had some really intense moments. And I did make it through this whole episode without crying, although I was tearing up as that guy was, calling out for his mom. Even though he was the one, shooting at him, it was just a tough scene to see because obviously Ellie didn't actually kill him, but he was very much injured. And we know that Joel, kills him because he's not going to let him go. Like, there's no way that that's going to work out well for them. We doesn't know the scope of what's going on. He knows obviously they've been ambushed, but I don't think he's expecting, that many people to be at the QZ. And for Joel to say that, whoever's behind this, it's not Fedra, it's not the Fireflies, it's people, and this is what they've, kind of orchestrated. And, the fact that obviously these infected are running around, and that's, what they're most afraid of. But the fact that regular humans would also be coming after them, because when they drove in the truck, these people clearly had a plan. They had those spikes laid down for the truck. Like, they weren't just going to let these people go, and maybe they were going to question them to find out other information. But we see Kathleen, Melanie Linsky's character, go in and just shoot this doctor because she, wasn't getting the information that she wanted. And we meet her in this episode, which is interesting. Like I said, I haven't played the video game, so I don't know how big of an influence she is, if she's a character they made up just for the show. And, we hear them mention Henry and Sam. I'm assuming Sam is Henry's brother, child, something like that. But obviously this Henry person, Kathleen, is looking for, like, that is goal number 1. And it sounds like Henry has gone rogue and is trying to, orchestrate something that she doesn't approve of. I feel like she's the leader of this group in whatever capacity, whatever title that looks like. But I love that actress. It was so great to see her in this. I've obviously seen her play Shauna in Yellow Jackets, and this character reminded me a little bit of Shauna, just kind of with, like, the recklessness a little bit and the impulsiveness. And, she doesn't get her way. She sees these bodies come back to the QZ, and her first thing to do is go shoot this doctor because, she doesn't have any use for him, basically. And this guy's saying, like, I delivered you as a baby. Like, they obviously have this long history and maybe weren't in, like, close contact for their whole lives. I don't know. But, obviously have this big moment. He's like, I held you in my arms. And then, here we are all these years later and she's killing him. Joel and Ellie obviously lost their truck. They lost their supplies. Everything that they had gathered from, Bill and Frank's is now gone. They have Ellie's backpack, basically, which she put a little bit of food in and a flashlight, basically, but that's it. Like, they, were so stocked and ready to go on this big trip. And, we see them stopping for gas pretty frequently because obviously doesn't have the same sustainability as it did. But I really think we got to see the two of them bond in this episode, which we needed because, I don't think they're best friends by any capacity, but I think we're slowly building something. And, of course, to have that cliffhanger ending as well with, Ellie and Joel waking up and, Joel's hearing on his right side isn't as strong, and they would look like kids. Like, it looked like they were like teenagers and kids that, came in there and had guns pointing at them. So I don't know what that means, but one of them even was like mouthing for them to be quiet. So maybe they're on the good team. I don't know. I have no idea what that looks like. Obviously, we just got to Kansas City, which was definitely Calgary, which was great to see. I know this was filmed in Alberta, so that's always nice to see, my home province featured in these films and TV shows. And had like the Globe Theater in one of the backgrounds, which I'm pretty sure is a Calgary theater. I'm sure some shots they would have had to alter, obviously, to make look like Kansas City and, you know, have this distressed background. You know, everything they encountered is covered in dust and moss, and, you know, the earth is taking it back, basically. But I really love those like kind of car deserts where it's just piles and piles and piles of vehicles that obviously either all ran out of gas or were killed. Like they saw, you know, all the cars trying to get to the tunnel, and that one semi had blocked off, you know, everybody's path, and the other side of the tunnel looked perfectly fine, like you could see through, but they have no way of getting there, and they can't plow through this semi. Like they have a truck, but it's a pretty small pickup, and what damage is that gonna do, you know? So they, you know, try to find another path, and the fact that they're in this building to try and find, you know, some kind of sight line out of the city. They're gonna have to try and find another vehicle. I don't know if they're gonna try and walk, but, you know, they're only in Kansas and they're still trying to get to Wyoming. And even from what they were looking at the map, it seems like it's in, you know, a pretty far section of Wyoming. Like they still have a pretty big distance to go. And we learn more about Tommy's backstory as well in this a little bit, that he was the reason that Joel went to Boston. Obviously, that's where they met Tess, but you know, we start off in the first episode with them in Texas, so I was wondering what was the motivation to go to Boston? Do they have family there? But it sounds, you know, like Joel saying his brother was a joiner, and Tommy, you know, joined this group and, you know, took off to Boston, and, you know, Joel's not going to let him go by himself, obviously, so goes with him, and now we see Joel, you know, trying to find his brother again. But I really like the set. I think it's so cool. Just really those aerial shots we had really did a good job of showing how isolated they are. And there's nothing, you know, around for miles and miles and miles in any direction. And luckily most of the roads were clear, but still just, you know, this path just seemed endless. And I didn't know how they were going to make it. And, you know, just all the obstacles they run into. And obviously this group that they found in Kansas City was not very welcoming. And Kathleen obviously is blaming Henry on these murders, and not, you know, she doesn't know who Joel is. Obviously they haven't met, but the fact that, you know, something is going on, and they've got their own kind of civil, you know, internal issues clearly. We saw that one shot of the ground kind of moving, like the rubble, you know, moving up, and I'm assuming the affected or fungus or something is underneath that. And even Kathleen saying, oh, that's not our first issue, like they've got other things to deal with, but still, like, that's terrifying. We didn't see I don't think we saw any infected in this episode, and I mean, obviously there's always the lingering threat that they could be anywhere, but, you know, Joel mentioning that they're outside, and that, you know, frequently the infected only stick to the cities and that kind of area where they know there's going to be more people. But the fact that the villain in this episode basically switched from the affected to now we have, you know, regular humans, I think is always an interesting, and we've seen that before, you know, in dystopian movies or end of the world, you know, zombie films, where eventually people start turning on each other. And I think to me that's the scariest part. Like the affected people, from what we know in the first episode, don't really have control over what's happening. They're not cognitive. They're not, you know, thinking, oh, I'm going to go, you know, attack this person. They're just, their body is not theirs anymore. And obviously these regular people are fully aware of the decisions that they're making. And to me, that's the scariest part, is like, if people are put in certain situations, where do we lose humanity? Like, where do we lose that compassion? And you can probably justify a lot of things in order to survive. And, you know, even Joel mentioning that he was part of an ambush team at some point, you know, probably in the early days. And, you know, he's like, I did what I did to survive. And, you know, 20 years later, here he is. And it doesn't seem like he wants to talk about it much. And I'm very curious yet to find out who Ellie hurt, because he brings that up as well. And they're both kind of avoiding talking about it. We did see Joel give Ellie back the gun. She puts it in her pocket, even though he said to put it in her backpack. I don't know if that's going to be important later. Please no spoilers, but clearly she has some experience with it, and, you know, he was grateful that she saved his life, because it wasn't looking good, obviously, and I don't know how long Ellie would last on her own. It felt very much like this episode that, you know, we really saw Joel try to protect Ellie and protect, you know, you're so young, and try to emphasize that she shouldn't have to be worrying about these things. And, you know, she makes fun of him saying like, oh, it gets easier when you get older. And he's like, no, but she's still very young and trying to navigate all of these things. I mean, the world is insane, and he doesn't really have control over that. And I think he kind of realizes that he can try to protect her as best as he can, but she's going to probably see some things that most, you know, people her age probably shouldn't. And unfortunately, that's just going to be the way it is. And We did see her tear up a little bit in this episode as well when, that person died, and, even talking about some things, she was getting a little emotional, which we haven't really seen before. So I definitely feel like she's able to get a little bit more vulnerable with him and, making the jokes and, trying to navigate the map and, still asking all these questions, which I think is the great way to have the audience, explore things, because she's so unfamiliar with all of this. And, even Joel explaining, like, we used to drive, 10 to 12 hours a day and, like, on a tank of gas and not have to worry about these things. And again, that world is so completely foreign to Ellie. Overall, I thought it was a good middle episode. We got to lay some groundwork for backstories for Tommy's character, for Ellie, for Joel's. Obviously, we meet some new characters in this episode as well with Kathleen and, this internal civil issues that they're having at the QZ in Kansas City. We knew there was QZs in other cities, obviously, but this is the first time we've seen the Kansas City one, and there's some kind of internal strife. Where's Fedra? If Fedra's not there, they don't have fireflies. It sounded like fireflies were supposed to be, in each city, or that this, rebel group was kind of, everywhere. And, they're obviously still on their mission to try and find Tommy. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm anticipating the episode will be more of them still in Kansas City, especially with the cliffhanger ending we had in this episode with Joel and Ellie waking up to guns in their face. I'm definitely curious to see where the story is going to go. I think it's doing a great job of showing a very terrifying and realistic version of what this world would look like. It's not very, stylized. It's very dark and muted colors, and it feels very realistic, which I think is what makes it scary. And I'm definitely interested to learn more about the video game and maybe play the video game. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. But thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. I'm worried about who she's going to use this on. Oh, why is she smelling it? It's like, leave me alone, I'm an old man, okay? Just a trail of broken glass in case anybody tries to break in. Who's been drawing Superman? She did seem like very familiar with the gun, as terrifying as that was. Why are they attacking other humans? I don't understand.